Hello everybody, hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to another CSGO news episode, this being all the minor predictions. So if you guys don't care about CSGO majors, then you can click away from the video. But if you guys do, welcome. If you guys can leave your predictions down below in the comment section, I would love that because sometimes you guys choose the right teams and I do not. When it came though for the closed qualifiers for the minor to solidify all of our minor teams out there, we did pretty well. Besides two teams, that being Heroic, that being Wendigo, not making it to the European minor, I was pretty surprised by that. So besides those two upsets and of course Cloud9 as well, was kind of on the fringe. I'd actually not predict them. I said maybe them alongside MV would go through if we were lucky, and well, neither of those two teams did go through. So speaking of which, let's hop into all of our four regions out there and give you guys my predictions as to what minor teams will be making the major and exactly why that is. Now, speaking of our first region, it will be North America, and the biggest upset I've seen in quite some time, in the way that it happened, not the fact that Cloud9 did not make the major, but the way it did happen, it was pretty sad because we all knew Cloud9 was struggling. It's not a question, okay? Everyone knew this. They've been making way too many changes out there. The questionable pickup of Vice as well, who I believe is still currently on trial with the team, so could be replaced in the near future. But with that being said, I don't think any of you would have said, yes, Cloud9 will not make the minor, and they'll do so by losing to two North American mixed teams, New Identity alongside Quest, eliminate Cloud9 from their chances at their first major, or returning to the major, I should say, ever since 2016 was the last time they actually missed a major, and that was before the major qualifier even existed. So with that being said, a huge upset over there in North America for a few people out there. I would say in the way it happened though. Am I really surprised? No. Am I surprised that the way they lost was to two North American mixed teams? Certainly am so. But with that being said, going forward, we do have the rest of our teams who actually did make it, and I think there are two clear-cut favorites alongside a team that I actually picked as kind of an underdog team, that being Team 1. Furia, NRG should be your clear favorites to actually make the major, and I'm not even saying clear. They should be the clean cut, by far and away favorites to make it out of North America to the major. But there's always a but, right? I'm not going to doubt Furia. They've actually taken down some of the top teams, not to mention recently as well, taking down Astralis in a best of 3 and beating them on back-to-back maps on Nuke as well on back-to-back days. I'm not going to doubt a Brazilian lineup like that. They're looking incredible. They'll put in the preparation. Furia will make the major. It's pretty much a guarantee. When it comes to NRG, though, they have thrown away this occasion very, very simply in recent times. So they've been in these same shoes before. Can they actually not choke and make it through when yet again they are a clear-cut favorite to make it to the major? We will see. Now, of course, a new lineup ever since they had those struggles, but with that being said, Brazilian competition will always be stiff. You have your two South American qualifiers, and alongside that, my underdog NA Brazilian lineup, that being Team 1, who will give them stiff competition. So I think Fury is a lock. NRG should be a favorite. I'll be taking Team 1, though, as my top 3, and I think 2 of those 3 will take your first spots. When it comes to actually predicting, though, your third place or your minor play-in teams to actually go through, I will not be predicting that far down the line because currently we have no idea with Cloud9 forfeiting their spot. It's been confirmed, and Hellraiser's probably taking their spot. We have no idea how the format's going to change with that. So I'm going to only predict to all of you guys the teams that directly make it from the minor to the major. And with that being said, I'll be selecting probably 3 teams per region to be your favorites. This time around should be Furia, NRG, Team 1, all out of North America. Oh my goodness, and Europe is, well, it's a doozy. I'm really curious what you guys think about this one. And again, you guys can predict things, but everyone makes fun of Jake. Now, that being me, everyone makes fun of me for making predictions when you guys often don't make predictions either. So make sure to leave a comment if you want to, or tweet at me or DM me your thoughts on what teams you think are making it out of Europe or any of these regions as well, because Europe is very, very confusing. Like I said before, Heroic and Wendigo don't go through. You have a crazy team in Team Crazy, formerly of Valiance, who is here yet again at the minor. Definitely a very, very dangerous lineup, and they are looking so as of recently. Alongside that, you have teams like No Chance and Ancient, who are pretty well underdogs. I'm not going to say No Chance has no chance, and along with that, with the other team as well, because they actually, that being Ancient, took down some pretty good teams to get to this point, especially when you look at a team like No Chance, but they certainly are your underdog teams. Then you have North. They've been in these same shoes, much like Valiance and much like other teams from other regions. They have been in these shoes before, and they have choked away their opportunities, so I never trust a team like North. And alongside them as well, you have, of course, Dennis going from Sprout to Team Big. They pretty much just swap players back and forth, or they've at least both both changed their lineups, so I'm not going to trust either of those German lineups probably right now to be favorites. And so with that all being said, finally wrapped up to a nice little bunch prediction for all of you guys. I'll be taking Mousesports, Fnatic, and it should be Team Crazy. Two of those teams should be going through. The other teams, they're just not consistent enough, just not high class enough. Even if you look at a team like Ancient, who just placed second at the DreamHack event as well to Optic Gaming, even with that being said, I don't trust these teams consistently enough. I think Crazy is a very dangerous lineup. Fnatic should be probably your best team here. Mousesports has been in these shoes before. They failed last time, much like Valiance did as well. So anything can happen, but those should be your three favorite teams: Crazy, Fnatic, and alongside them Mousesports. Which teams will choke it away is probably the bigger question. And for the third region, welcome to CIS, everyone. My guaranteed pretty much lock should be Team Spirit. I always like to favor the longest standing roster. When it comes to this stage of the minor, Team Spirit is very, very consistent, very good at what they do, and I believe of all the CIS minor teams, they should be one of your longest standing rosters, if not the longest standing roster there. I believe in that consistency. Team Spirit should be pretty much a lock out of CIS. Alongside them, though, I'll choose a rising team out there who looked very good throughout the qualifiers, that being Team Namiga. And besides that, you know, you have teams like, I think it was actually Dream Eaters and Warthawks. They took down Teams Vega and Windstrike to actually get here, so there should be some upsets out of this region, no doubt about that. Will they go all the way, though? Completely different question. And then very lastly, as well, kind of a team that you might be sleeping on a little bit, that being Team Forza. They've had some pretty consistent top 4 and top 2 results in some lesser events throughout 2019. They just have not shown up, I think, at the big stage accordingly. Did not look so strong throughout the qualifiers as well. So I'll be taking, I think Team Spirit should be almost a guaranteed lock. I'll be taking Amiga alongside them, and any upset teams could be possible. I don't see it happening too certain for me to actually predict that. And the most questionable of all the regions out there in terms of if they even deserve 2 spots still, I'm not going to take digs at Asia, okay? With that being said, though, a very deadly region when it comes time for a team like Greyhound to actually make their second major appearance. With that being said, will we have the Big Dick Stickers return to the game yet again for a second time is the ultimate question, because they are always kind of an on the fringe team. They never, I think, fair to say, blown us all away, but also kind of a funny lineup as well when it comes to Avant also being there in this bracket, a team I think Joe Cardali and others have favorited as a team to potentially go through. And with that being said, a team like Avant, who played Greyhound very close in the closed qualifiers, they lost to Greyhound, had to make their run through the lower bracket, kind of reminds me of a Renegades Greyhound matchup. Always play each other in that same region very close. Can they go all the way? That being Avant Gaming is the ultimate question. I will be favoring Greyhound because I love Dick Stacy and I love that team, and they ultimately should be easily a top 4 pick, if not your favorite team here. I'll be taking Avant as well. And then very lastly, Tyloo, even though with that being said, I take Tyloo with a grain of salt because they will be changing 40%. That's 2 of their players on this roster just a month before the minor they do start competition. They're changing almost half of their roster, and you must not take that for granted when it comes to Tyloo. Yes, they nearly always make it, if not always make it, from the Asian minor, but they could not be necessarily outright guarantee or outright favorite here this time around, because even though the roster might be better on paper, they are changing it within 3 to 4 weeks of this competition starting. So your longer standing current rosters should be the favorites when it comes to that. And then very lastly, if you want to pick a 4th team, when it comes to a team like 5 Power, they beat out Vici Gaming to make it to this spot. So I'll be taking Greyhound and Avant, but again, Tyloo could be a very well, not even much of a sleeper, but could be an upset team even with a new roster. And then very lastly, 5 Power could also do that as well. I'll be taking my 2 favorite teams though out of Asia to take those last spots. Now, of course, when it comes to minor play-in and of course grabbing the spots that have been forfeited for the major, I'm going to favor your European team or your European 3rd place team, and then probably maybe your CIS 3rd place team or North American and Asian 3rd place team probably last. But as always, hope you guys all enjoy. Feel free to leave a comment down below what teams you think are going to make it through, and tell me why. Give me details. Give me solid details, because so many teams in these minors so far have made roster changes, have choked at the stage before, or don't really have, you know, current long-standing rosters. I tend to go with experience. I tend to go with teams who have looked the most consistent, and those are why I made the predictions I did make for all of those regions. But as always, my name is Jake. I hope you guys all enjoy 2 CSGO videos today. I love when I make that accomplishment for all of you OG fans out there. But until next time, I hope you guys all take care. There is so much esports news out there, and as always, I love covering it for all of you. Until next time, take care of yourselves, drink water, and bye-bye.